everyone, and happy Monday morning. Today is August 12th, 2024, and I'm joined today by one of our members, Mary Scott. And as you can see, she's outdoors in the beautiful New Mexico area. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. You get to travel and go where you need to go. And I know right now you're with your grandkids in New Mexico and helping out there, but you're still able to run your businesses, and you're a startup expert. You want to tell me how you really got into that, Mary? Why did you specialize in working with tech and product startups specifically, and many other types of startups?
Well, I love anything new. And I had businesses as a video producer in New York, and I was always getting other people's stories and being able to tell them and help them grow their businesses. When I moved to St. Louis about 10 years ago, I discovered this whole startup ecosystem that was, oh, joy. Every Thursday, I get to meet like 5 or 10 brand new companies and have new stuff happening. And I was just really grooving on that until I discovered that there were all these resources for startups in St. Louis and all these startups in St. Louis, and they kind of weren't talking to each other. So I said, I can help that.
I love that. So you saw a huge gap.
So I created the Startup Resources Guide for St. Louis, and that one thing led to another, and I became the go-to resource person for startups in town.
That's really great. So just going back, you're saying many in all the different areas, there are several resources that are available, whether they're nonprofits, whether they're for-profits, and all we need to do is know how to tap into them. But like you had said, many of the startups didn't know where to find them, so you created a resource guide. Do you want to talk us a little bit more through that?
Sure. Startups, when you ask a brand new business what do they need, they always say money. Well, not so much. They need to validate their ideas, and they need to get resources that are specific to them and their industry. So in any given town, you're going to find early stage, business idea resources. You're going to find potential corporate investors for when you're at the next stage and you're just starting to grow and scale. You're going to find major angel investors at higher levels where you're maybe needing millions of dollars rather than thousands of dollars. So it's knowing what the path through the ecosystem is, where the resources are, and which one's going to charge you and which one's not. And being prepared to answer the questions of the people that you're going to be talking to. So that's why a resources guide is really important. And then talking to somebody like me or somebody at the small business development centers to help guide you through the process. Because when you start a business, there's a lot of housekeeping to do. And people know how to do something or make something, but they don't necessarily know business. So that's where the resources come in.
Yeah, for sure. And there's small business development centers pretty much in every city across the United States, right?
Right. And they're usually associated with a university, but you can find them Small Business Development Center or SBDC.
So tell me about the nonprofit you just started, because you said there was a gap and you noticed that you needed to start a nonprofit in the St. Louis area where you're working with a lot of startups and business owners there.
Exactly. I was part of a national organization and they decided to close our local chapter. Well, the kind of stuff we were doing was particularly for early stage startups. And through COVID, we had already lost a couple of resources for early stage. So I wasn't about to stop doing the work just because the organization didn't want to support us anymore. So I went and found the URL pitchstl.com, because what we do is give new businesses an opportunity to present themselves, to pitch to the community and get some feedback. Whether you need investors or whether you just need customers, as a new business, you need to know how to pitch. And that requires practice and focus, and everybody can use a little help. So we do this for free.
Yeah, and they can take those skills that you're teaching them locally to be able to pitch their business idea to get the funding and use that on a local or a national scale, right?
Absolutely. We've had a few of our people have come through presentations once and sometimes twice. They'll do an update with another ask from the community. But we've had some of our folks go on to get, $500,000 deals to really scale and advance their company.
Wow. That's amazing. That's really great. So I know you're doing this on a local level in St. Louis. Is that correct? So
That's
they
correct.
can get the skills if they're in that area. That person really needs to connect with you. And we've got your email here, which is mary.scott@businessriff.com. So that's one way for them to connect with you. They can also connect with you on LinkedIn as well. And so we've got that link available for them as well to connect with you. What else would you tell them, Mary, for, I love this idea for the nonprofit, for the startup and what you're doing and the pitch STL, which is for St. Louis, and giving them the option to be able to, my goodness, learn the skills that it takes to pitch the business, just like you see on Shark Tank, right?
Exactly. We even call it a warm, fuzzy Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we're going to be doing with the new organization that we were not able to do with the old one is a fast pitch night once a month where I get sponsors to come up with like a $500 or $1,000 prize to the winner with the best pitch. And we'll do 2-minute pitches. And I'm going to channel my Simon Cowell for that one.
So I love that you're making it fun, relaxing, easy, because this is a very nerve-wracking thing. So when we see advertisements come out that say, come to pitch to all, Grant Cardone or all these big names, of people that in business that have millions of dollars, and we're saying, come pitch to them in Vegas. Someone who is a startup business owner, the scariest thing they could ever do would be get in front of those individuals to pitch their business. And it takes a lot of
practice. They need to get in front of somebody like me or an organization like this to do some practicing, to get some honest feedback in a supportive environment.
Yeah.
So that's something I can do that for people virtually. You don't have to be in St. Louis to benefit from my pitch coaching skills.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm glad that you said that. So pitchstl.com, is that what you said?
Yes.
For the nonprofit? We'll make sure that we have that link as well, but I highly suggest that you email Mary at mary.scott, like we talked about, at businessriff.com. Or you can connect with her, or both. Connect with her on LinkedIn for sure and message her there as well. That might be the fastest way for them to get to you as well. Tell us a little bit more about some of the companies that you've connected or gotten funding or worked with there in St. Louis.
Okay, there's a company called Metis Analytics, and they provide data analysis, particularly for security companies and even the government. They've gone on to get a CIA contract, so I'm very proud of them. There is a great little company called Vertigreens, and they do vertical farming inside a shipping container. So farm to table takes on a whole different meaning because they can provide all the top chef restaurants in town with really fresh lettuce and really fresh exotic herbs that they would pay 4 times as much to have shipped and have too much wastage. So she's got a great concept there for Vertigreens, and I'm very happy to see her on her way to purchasing a second shipping container to be able to do another vertical farm. So this is a great way to turn some urban environments into agriculture. So as you can see, there's a wide variety of startups. A lot of people are writing apps. really, really interesting folks. And I'm very proud of all my baby startups.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, you're working with startups not only in St. Louis, but they can be outside of the state of St. Louis because you work virtually with startups as well, correct?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, and I think, understanding how to be able to get to funding, access funding, putting together a business plan, like you said, there are a lot of small business development centers that many new startups should be attaching themselves to. But I think having the guidance from you, you can help them understand what they should be tapping into and when, and how to do that through the process. So, do they work with you? How does that work? Do they work with you for a few months? Do they work with you just ongoing for as long as they need you in the startup process? How does that look, Mary?
Everybody's a little bit different. I will give people 15 minutes for free to just get started. I have downloads about how to start a business or 10 mistakes startups make that you can avoid. I do workshops around town and virtually. So people can find my services in a lot of different ways, and it's always very affordable.
Okay, great. And I know you have a website, businessriff.com, and from there, they can actually connect with you and download, look at your business networking, your startup advice videos, download some things. So that's another place
Sure.
that they can
And then I
also.
have this podcast every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. I drop it on Facebook Live in the Startup Launch Pad on Facebook. It also ends up in the Startup Success Launch on YouTube. And I always post it on LinkedIn. But it's practical, tactical advice for startups. And none of these podcasts are more than 10 minutes long.
Oh,
So,
wonderful. Okay.
yeah,
So
I
just
talk to
practical
investors, I talk to marketing people, accounting people, all different kinds of folks.
wonderful.
And I'm
Great.
always looking for more guests. So if
Well,
somebody's got
wonderful.
practical, tactical advice for startups, contact me.
I will make sure I make that note that Mary is looking for guests for sure. And Mary, thank you so much for being with us today. It's really been a pleasure. There's so much you do out there to educate business owners on what they need in the startup process. So all of that can be available to all of you if you go to businessriff.com. You can connect with Mary there. As well as email her, as we talked about earlier, at mary.scott@businessriff.com. But definitely connect with her on her website. There's a plethora of resources out there. And you can get to her YouTube and so many other things from there. So, Mary, thank you so much for being a valued member of the LEAP community, for providing your expertise to the ladies in the LEAP community. It is a startup, and for female small business owners that are growing their businesses. And, whenever we're in the startup phase, we need different support. We're in the growth phase, we need different support. And then when we're in the scaling phase, we need a different support. So you've been wonderful in lending a hand to that support. And we just really appreciate you and what you do and what you're doing for small business owners out there. So thank you so much. And to all of you out there, make sure that you have a wonderful week. Go crush it on your business goals. Connect with Mary Scott if you're a startup or thinking about starting up a business and have a lot of questions and you're not really sure what to do. Make sure you connect with her today on all of the different outlets and portals that we've given you to be able to connect with her below. And don't forget, this week, be you and be strong. Bye-bye for now. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Colleen.